Hey, welcome back. Today we've got Musketeer mid-range. Musketeer is one of the only archetypes currently in Lorcana. You've got princesses, villains, and then Musketeers. In my opinion, Musketeers is the strongest archetype that we've got. Seems the most fleshed out, lots of options. Let's get straight into it. As always, we've got the glossary here, should have timestamps. If you're interested in any of this, just go to that timestamp in the video and that's what you'll get. Key cards of Musketeers. Obviously, start off, you've got the 3 Musketeer cards, which is Goofy, Mickey, and Donald. They've all got bodyguard and they all kind of buff up each other. Well, they buff up every other Musketeer, basically. So, Goofy heals your Musketeer characters, Mickey gives them more attack, and Donald gives them evasive. So you have all the tools that you need to build up a strong mid-game board and benefit from that, lots of board control, and then just slowly grind your way out to a victory. Next is A Whole New World. Simple card, everyone should know what this card does by now. It lets you discard your hand, draw 7 cards, does that for both players. Great if you dead draw, you've got a weak hand, just get rid of it. Or if you know that your opponent's holding something, get rid of it. Fresh new set cards, play from there. Rapunzel, everyone knows Rapunzel, really strong card. Heals one of your cards, 3 damage, and then for each damage healed, draw a card. Great mid-game, refill your hand, keep going. 2 quests is also great. Yeah. Tinkerbell was one of the most hype cards starting off the early days of Lorcana. Basically, it just has such good board control. You can shift it from the 3-cost Tinkerbell on turn 4. When you play it deals 1 damage to everything on the opponent's side, and then when you kill something, you deal 2 damage to a chosen opposing character. Great for board control, simply what this deck wants to do. And then Musketeer Tabard, an item card. Every time one of your characters with bodyguard is banished, you may draw a card. Really important to note, it says bodyguard, not Musketeer, so you can play a bodyguard deck. And you can play multiple of these, so if you've got 3 Tabards in play, one of your bodyguards die, you draw 3 cards, it's really good. Uninkable, unfortunately, but I feel like the card's strong enough where it doesn't really need to be inkable. This is the deck list I've got. Obviously, like in every video, this deck list is massively unrefined. Game's not out yet, I have to say this every video, game is not out yet, so these lists that you see are kind of like cookie cutter starter lists. Feel free to adapt this list how you want, how you see fit. If you don't agree with anything, feel free to change it. But hopefully this will be a good skeleton to start off any Musketeer decks that anyone's thinking of building. So, to start off with, we've got a Captain Hook. We've got 2 of those. Really good early game card. It's essentially a 3-2 when you're on the offensive. When you challenge, you get +2 attack, so your card's a 3-2 stat line. Really good early game. You can deal with a lot of Simbas, the bodyguard Simbas, which have free defense. And just lots of it can upgrade itself quite a lot, basically. But only 2 of those, it's not really the focus of the deck, but it's still a good card for those early turns. Next we've got 2 1-cost Simbas. Just lets you go through your deck. Basically when you play it, you can draw a card, discard a card, just really good. And any turn 1 drop is great in my opinion. You can combat aggro quite easily, and you can get the jump, make your opponent react to your board. Next we've got 4 bodyguard Simbas. This card's fantastic at protecting those 1-drops we just spoke about. Also just a really good turn 2 play, it's got a good stat line. Most 1-drops can't contest it, obviously the hook can, but a lot of 1-drops are mainly 2-2 stats, so yeah, this card's just great for that. Next up is Hercules, we've got 3 of those, 3 stat line bodyguard, not much to say about that. Tinkerbell, 3 cost, 4 of those. This card is mainly used to shift into the bigger Tinkerbell, which we spoke about before, but it does have the ability that you can exert it to draw a card and then discard a card, same as Simba, just as you get through your deck. Super effective card, and 2-4 stat line, pretty good. Next is Rapunzel, we've already spoke about. Just a great card overall, only 3 of those. Maybe you would like to make room for 4, but 3 is fine for now. And then we've got 4 Donalds, which we spoke about as well. Musketeer, needed in this kind of deck if you're going for this archetype playstyle. 4 Goofies, same as Donald. And then we've got 3 Maximus, another bodyguard card, which also has support. This is a really good 5-drop. Arguably better than Goofy. If you're not playing a Musketeer deck, I reckon this card is better than Goofy. So 4-5 stat line, super strong. Bodyguard like most of the cards in this deck. And then we've got 3 Musketeer Mickeys, 7 defense, and all your other Musketeer characters get +1 attack. So that's super strong. you can stack all this up, get a really strong mid game board, just control the board from that point, and get to your 20, win the game. 4 Tinkerbells we spoke about, super strong card, really good turn 4 play if you can shift it. If not, turn 6 is still fine. 1 damage to everything, and yeah, just good board control. Next we've got 3 Fire the Cannons, 2 damage to a chosen character. Really good early game board control. Simple as that. 4 Ransacks, draw 2 cards, discard 2 cards, go through your deck, kind of the same as the Simba and the unshifted Tinkerbell. 4 Smashes, deal 3 to a chosen character. Better than Fire the Cannon, in my opinion, because you can ink it, but it does cost 3. 4 Whole New Worlds, we spoke about, you can sing this with Tink, with the big Tink if you want. Each player discards their cards, draw 7 cards. Very simple. Next is grab your sword, 5 cost, you can sing it, deal 2 damage to each opposing character. Really good in combination with the big Tink, because you can shift into it on turn 4, deal 1 to everything, and then sing, grab your swords, deal 2 more to everything, so that's 3 to everything the opponent has on turn 4. Should board wipe most of the time. 2 Dingle Hopper, an item, you can exert it to remove 1 damage from a chosen character. Really good if you're clearing the board a lot, you're going to have a lot of damage on all your characters. So just healing that 1 extra every time is really good. And then 4 Musketeer Tabard, if you can set up, even just one of these is great. You can just draw through your whole deck really quick, get that advantage you need to close out the game. So main combos, we got Tabard plus the Musketeers. I guess there should be any bodyguard here actually, but yeah, just trade your bodyguards away or let them die, draw loads of cards, simple. Then Tinkerbell shifted that we spoke about, you can turn 4 shift into Tink, deal 1 to everything, and then sing, grab your swords, deal 2 to everything. Should be board weapon turn 4. You can do it even later if you want, but yeah. For the Mulligan, it's quite tricky with this deck. I've got both the Tinks. You kind of want to have that option to shift into Tink turn 4. If not, you can just ink it. But the turn 4 Tink is just really strong. It's so much tempo you get given that the opponent probably won't be able to deal with, and against aggro a lot of the time you will just win the game on the spot at that point. And then you can keep Tabard if you want. I would only keep Tabard if I've got a lot of bodyguards in hand, like Simba, like the early game bodyguards. And then you can keep grab your sword if you want. If you kind of feel like you're going to be playing against aggro, you can hold grab your sword definitely. Can't ink it, which is the only issue, but it's definitely worth having in your hand for turn 5 to clear that board. And then I've got all the 1 cost cards. 1 cost cards, it's a turn 1 play. You kind of want to have the option to have a turn 1 play a lot of the games that you play. So yeah, these are the matchups. As you can see, it's got quite an honest spread. It's quite an honest deck. So against Emerald, a lot of their stuff is kind of low health, lots of quest, and they want you to attack into their stuff a lot of times, so you have a lot of options to clear the board as you see fit. So I'd say against Emerald you've got quite a good spread. Even though this is a steel deck, it's not a traditional steel deck, it's more of a musketeer deck, it's like an archetype. So against steel a lot of the time, I feel like wants to control the board, but I feel like musketeers are just so good at controlling the board, especially this list, that you have a favourable matchup against steel. I've got Sapphire and Amber and Even. Basically, yeah, they're both strong decks, they're both mid-range, or like, they want to have that like mid-game control, whereas that's also what you're fighting for, so put them even there, because you kind of both want to do the same thing, and it's difficult to say if one is better than the other. And then unfavourable, I've got Amethyst and Ruby. Ruby just has so many control options that by the time you're set up, they have options to get past your strong point and go into their strong point. And at that point, Ruby kind of becomes unbeatable. And then I've got Amethyst, just because Amethyst just seems super strong. They have lots of card draw, lots of early and mid game options, so they might tempo you out better than you want to tempo. They do tempo better than you do tempo, basically. So that was it for the deck rundown. So we're going to move on to some games now. I'll play 3 games for you, and then we can see how it goes. Yeah. So that was the breakdown. As always, like, comment, subscribe. More videos on the channel if you're interested, and see you soon. Okay, game 1 going first this time around. Mulligan seems to be okay. I'm actually happy with it. I'm going to keep Tink, Cannons, and Grab Your Sword, mainly for the Tink sword combo, and then we've got Cannons for just like the first couple of turns. Get a turn 1 drop with Simba, which is great. 2 Musketeers in hand, no Tabard, so we don't really care about those too much, so I'm going to ink this Mickey. Mickey's kind of like a super late game play. You're not really going to play Mickey too much. We're going to play Simba, definitely going to use the ability, see what we get. Another Simba. I don't think we need this Simba, but we could use it for turn 2. So I'm actually going to get rid of the Maximus there, and then we'll pass. Now, interesting enough with Musketeers is that it seems to be like an archetype that already exists, if that makes sense. Like, it kind of builds itself. You kind of want to add all the Musketeers in, tabard, and then kind of just fill it out with bodyguards and a lot of control. We're going to ink this Simba to play this 2-cost Simba. We're going to put it in the bodyguard position. It doesn't matter. I don't think it makes a difference at all at this point, because they have nothing on the board, but we'll do that anyway. Just in case of any rush units actually, but I don't think green or blue have any. But yeah, there's like 2 other archetypes I'd say currently in Lorcana, which is princesses and villains. Princesses seems to be the better out of the 2 that I've just mentioned, while Musketeers seems to definitely be like the strongest one at the moment. But we'll ink this Goofy, and then cannon this Flynn. Definitely don't want to attack into Flynn, don't want to discard our cards. Yeah, so princesses seem to be the strongest. They seem like they have a lot of like, they can play a lot of songs, they can heal themselves. Just quite a good mid-range deck as well. Whereas I feel like villains is missing something. They've got the big end, but their early game and the mid game kind of just doesn't really do anything. It just kind of plays like, a starter deck almost. Ink this Mickey again. Important to remember that we've inked 2 Mickeys, so we probably don't want to ink the 3rd one. We can play this Donald, play it bodyguarded, and keep questing. As you can see, we've got a much stronger board than our opponents, kind of what we want to do with this deck. And it's interesting to see if there will be any more Musketeer support, mainly because I think the thing of Musketeers is that there's 3 of them, right? And we currently have Goofy, Donald and Mickey, which will be all 3. So maybe they'll add like different Musketeer support, and then maybe like a tutor for a Musketeer. So what a tutor is you play it and then it searches your deck for a Musketeer to add to your hand. Maybe something like that. And then see if we can get these cards really strong. But right now it seems to be like a solid deck. I'm not going to say it's like Musketeers are the best deck in the game at the moment or anything like that. It's definitely a very honest, simple deck, but it works, and that's exactly what we care about at this point. We want something that works. So we can pass here, honestly. Obviously we're going to quest, but we could grab your swords, or we can ink this Goofy. I feel like we don't really need this Goofy. It's got a lot of stats on it, but I feel like I'd rather play the tank. So I'm going to ink this Goofy, and then I'm going to play a grab your sword, and then I'm going to attack into this Mickey. Just want to keep control of the board basically, and then quest with these 2. Already at 7, so we're looking quite strong. This deck is great against aggro decks as well, but just because you constantly make positive trades and you're so like minion or character centric that it's hard for them to do much. Obviously aggro decks can just race you out. It's quite as annoying as it is. That's kind of just like early game formats, they do that a lot. So they're gonna let it go our Donald there, which is fine. Thankfully they're on 1 health, so we can tank to kill the Aurora, which we will do. Not the most value I've ever had out of the tank, but it will do. And then we're gonna quest with the Simba. We're not gonna ink this hook. I feel like we don't really need it. I think our most expensive card is 6, so there's no point really going over 6 at this point. Great, so we can play this tabard, and then we can even play this hook, and then we can quest with the Tink and quest with the Simba. My thought process is if they hit with Mickey into the Simba, they'll take 1 damage, and then Tink can kill the other one. They can kill both. Tink can kill both. It will do 4 damage to one of them, and then deal 2 damage to the other one, which will just kill them both. And then we've got tabard up for draw. Unfortunately, we have no bodyguards, so we're not going to get any benefit off of that. Kind of hoping that we can top deck a what's it called? Whole New World. Oh yeah, 8 cost Genie there. I don't really see this card often, so it seems quite strong. It says whenever this character quests, you can play an action card that costs 5 or less for free. They've only got 1 card in hand, so I'd be worried about that if they had a big hand, but they don't, so that'd be fine. We'll kill the Mickey with the hook, and we'll quest with the Tink. Might have been better to quest with the hook at this point, just because we're getting so close to 20. I think the one jump ahead. Play Genie, let's see if they've got something big. They don't. So, thought process here, I can Whole New World to get up to 7 cards, but then I risk them drawing out, so I'm gonna simply quest. I'm debating Whole New World, I'm not sure. I feel like since I've got control, I'm not gonna play it. Because if I play it, they might just completely answer my board and just get to a state where I can't come back. So they're gonna kill our hook with Mickey, it's fine. Also, I don't want to give them a big hand because then this Genie has more opportunity to have an action which is 5 or more. We'll play this Goofy, put it in bodyguard mode for sure. Quest with Tink, we're at 18, so they need to kill the Tink. We've played a bodyguard in front of it, so they're going to have to kill both units or use an action card. Which at this point I'm very comfortable. There's a concession, and that's game 1. Okay, so game 2, going first again. Looks like we've got a really strong early hand. I'm not sure if I want all of this though. I'm going to get rid of a cannons, a Simba, and a hook. I'm going to keep this tabard, and then keep the Simba and the hook. See what we draw, we get Tink, we get second tabard, which isn't too good because they're uninkable. And yeah, so let's go from there. We're going to ink this Smash, I think is best choice. Play this hook. And pass. Okay, inking of our guess, so we know they're playing Amber. So they're playing Amber Steel, which is probably like a Stitch, Tink, Tempo deck, which might beat us out, but should be fine. I'm going to ink this Rapunzel to play this Simba. Simba seems a bit bugged out. There you go. Okay, so we're going to put it in bodyguard position. Simba's so good on turn 2 if you go first, just for answers like this, although the hook can trade into it, so maybe it's better to fire the cannons in retrospect. Now I'm thinking about it, but it is what it is. We've got kind of a weak hand here. There's the Simba from them. If they trade, I'm just going to trade into it, reset the board. Hand's looking kind of weak. Definitely are going to ransack, that's exactly what I want. And then we can discard 1 tabard. And maybe this Dingle Hopper actually. So we'll do that. And then I'm not gonna quest with this. Might ink this Goofy. Not really sure about that, but I will do it. Let's just see how it goes. Gonna ink their Simba, play a Tink, so it seems like they've drawn quite well here. Another tabard, that's just not what we want at all. It's unfortunately looking like a straight pass for us. That's the problem with uninkable cards, is I feel like this deck doesn't have too many uninkables, but even if you play any amount of uninkables, you still run that risk of bricking, not being able to use your inkwell effectively, stuff like that. So there's Maximus. Not sure if I guess I have to ink it. Play this tabard, it might be able to save us. I'm gonna trade into the Simba. And then pass. Definitely not an interaction that's definitely not how the game works. because we banished one of theirs, a bodyguard, and we got to draw a card. I should have clicked cancel, but I just wasn't thinking. So if that happens again, we'll click cancel. That's not supposed to happen. So I should not have this Donald right now. They're going to shift it to Tink, which means they miss out on their 1 damage. I'm going to play this Donald, and then I'm going to ink this Hercules, maybe? Might be worth inking this Tinkerbell. Actually gonna ink the Tink. Yeah. Just because I felt like it, basically. No, not really a thought process behind that one. They're completely dead draw, but they have a way stronger board than we do currently. So let's see what our options are. So we can go hit into this, and then we can fire the cannons on it as well, get rid of that Tink. And then we can Rapunzel here, heal 2 off of this Donald, draw 2. Another Rapunzel and another Donald, which is fine. I'm not going to ink this turn, I'm quite comfortable with our hand currently. So yeah, seems like quite a good turn there. We're definitely on the back foot, but it's nothing that we can't come back from. Opponent has no cards in hand. So there goes our Donald, we can draw a card for that. We got our own Tink, which is fantastic. Let's see, so we can have 6, so we definitely want to play the Smash to get rid of that Tink. So we'll do that, but it might be worth playing our Tink here actually. I'm going to ink Hercules to play Tink. Deal 1 to everything. And then I'm just going to clean up this hook. We're in quite a strong spot here for a comeback, as long as they don't top deck Whole New World, which they definitely will. So they're going to play Ariel, which is a really good card actually, definitely underutilized. Okay, so they're gonna kill my Rapunzel there, which is totally fine. And they're gonna quest with Tink. So we've got a really strong turn here. It looks like we can board wipe here, which is great for us. So we're gonna hit into their Tink with our Tink. And then deal 2 to the Cinderella to kill it. And then we're gonna smash this Ariel to get rid of it. And then we can ink this Maximus to play a Donald, which will protect our Tinkerbell against any rush, which I don't think they'll have. But yeah, just like that, we've got complete ball control again, and we've got Rapunzel to heal and draw off of this Tinkerbell. They're going to return a card back to the hand, which is the Tink. They're not going to play it, so we're definitely going to play our Rapunzel to heal Tink for free and draw 3 cards. That's just such a great card, Rapunzel. And then we're gonna play our own. Wait, can we ink? So we're gonna ink this Tink, play another Tabard. Then if they do get rid of our Donald, we're gonna draw 2 cards, which is exactly what we want. And then we're gonna quest for free. It looks like the comeback is on. As long as they don't draw Whole New World. If they draw Whole New World, then game's back to 50-50. There comes the Tink. Fine by me. I'm just going to play Simba and Bodyguard. We've got lots of bodyguards. And then I'm going to play this Tink. We just do not want them to get ball control back. I can fire a cannon on a Tink. That will take it to 3 health, which doesn't really do anything for me actually. So I am just going to press 5. And we're looking good. they've got these lanterns which is letting them play their cards for cheap, but because they've got a really small hand, it doesn't matter. There's Whole New World, that's exactly what they're looking for. So they can sing it with the Tink, but then I just have my complete board still up. So that's fine for me. Or if they want to hit with Tink, that's also fine for me, because I'm going to draw 2 cards for that. And we want to get rid of their board so we can make them spend ink to play Whole New World, because if they sing it, we're in a lot of trouble. So we want to just bin our hand off basically, because we know they're going to Whole New World us this turn. So we're going to fire the cannon as a Stitch, don't want them to play that. Play this Simba. And yes, exactly what this deck wants to do. This is a great showcase, honestly. You just want to get this huge board that your opponent just can't beat down. And yeah, so they're going to Whole New World. That's the only card that they've got in their hand, we know that for a fact. Other than their top deck, the 4 away, so they have to clear this whole board if they want a chance. It's exactly what this deck wants to do. It's a great showcase, and it does this consistently as well, which is quite surprising, because it doesn't seem like it's one of those decks that should be as strong as it is. But I'd say it's a solid like tier 2, maybe 1.5 at the moment. But like I say, it's difficult to tell because the meta is just non-existent as is. I'm gonna grab the swords, and that's all they can do. I'm gonna grab the swords again. Whoa, complete board wipe. But we do get to draw a lot of cards off of that. We should have got to draw more. Tabard seems to be a bit buggy at the moment. We should have got a lot of cards off of that, but we didn't. But just look at our hand size. This should be way bigger, but I guess it's not. Should be fine. They're gonna quest for 1, 2, 3. So they're questing for 5, so they got 16. So we just need to put 4 on the board. So we can do that with might be worth just playing to get rid of their board actually. So I might just smash this aerial, and then we can play a Tink and a Simba. We're not going to exert Simba because we don't want them to get the value off of the Tinkerbell hit. And then we're going to ink this hook. Maybe I should have played around the double grab your swords, but 2 grab your swords is quite a lot to expect them to have, so good player team. Very back and forth game here. It's kind of how this game works. It's very swingy in my opinion. So they've got 6, so they're only going up to 19 unless they shift this Tink, so that might be worth thinking about. We got to 18. Can we do 5 damage? Definitely worth just playing a Donald and a Goofy here, and then questing, and then we can heal, but with no point. And then if they have Shift Tink, then they win. If they don't, then we win. Simple as that. Hopefully they don't. Either way, I feel like this has been a really good game just to showcase kind of what this deck can do. There's the Shift Tink, they did have it. So that is going to be game, unfortunately. Yep, the +7 there, so all they have to do is quest, unless they misplay. They seem to be thinking quite heavily about their turn. They've traded, so they've not read that they've got game. And we get to draw 2 here. Might have been worth putting the Goofy in bodyguard position. Draw 2 more. Don't think it's going to be enough, unfortunately, but I'd say we put up a good fight. We drew a lot of cards, and that's kind of what you want to do. Let's see if we can do anything here. we can play our own grab your swords, kill a lot of their stuff. And then if we did have enough to play this Tink, we'd be in a great spot. Unfortunately we don't. And we have no rush units. We can play Ransack, maybe we'll get something. We'll get rid of a Mickey and a Hercules, it doesn't really matter at this point. Take Simba, maybe draw something good. Another Tink. Not gonna cut it, and that's the game. Really close game, I'm happy with it though. We showed that we have that comeback potential, we have that ball control, and we just missed the mark. And even though we almost could have won, they had game on board and missed it. So that was game 2. Unfortunately a loss, but that's how it works. Third and final game, going first again here. Hopefully we can end on a positive win rate. If not, small sample size, try it for yourself, see how it works for you. Yeah, so we're going to keep Tink, we're going to get rid of the Hercules, so we're going to keep Simba, grab your sword and Tink. Draw into another Sink, another Simba. That's fine, we're actually going to ink one of these Tinks, I think, it's fine. And then pass, no turn 1 play, which is totally fine. This deck doesn't really care too much about 1-drops. Obviously the hook is good, Simba's good, but it doesn't really matter too much. Opponent's heavily thinking about what their turn 1 play is going to be. It's always important to keep in mind what they're inking, what they're playing, to see what inks they're playing, like what colours they're playing, super quick. You want to get that down early so you know what to play around. So inking the Stitch for the Lilo. Gonna ink this Simba. The question here is, do we want to fire the cannons on this Lilo, or do we just want to let them get 2 points? Depends. If they inked an Emerald card, I would definitely just fire the cannons this Lilo, just to not let them get those points. But because we don't know what they're playing, I'm just going to play the Simba. I'm going to let them just have those 2 quest points. If they play a Simba bodyguard, we're just going to fire the cannons on the Lilo after that. But if they play something else, cool. So maybe it was better to fire cannons, but difficult to say, we don't really know what they're playing, so that'll be fine. I'm going to ink this Ransack, play this Bodyguard Hercules. Didn't play fire the cannons like I said I would. Oops. Wasn't thinking that, my bad. But either way, we can use the Hercules to hit into the Simba, and then hit the Simba into the Lilo. And they are going to be at 5, which is not too dangerous, thankfully. And then if they play anything else which has 2 health, we can just fire the cannons on it. And then we can use Rapunzel maybe to draw some cards off of the Hercules after we kill Simba. We're going to play a Tink. So it looks like they're playing Stitch, Tink. It might be the same opponent, but I'm not sure about that. Okay, so they're not doing much. I'm expecting a turn 4 shift, so let's think. If they turn 4 shift and we quest with both of these, they can hit into Simba, which trades it, which is fine. And then they can hit into the Simba to kill it, which is also maybe fine. But I am going to use the fire cannons on this Lilo. And then, is it worth inking any of these cards? Yeah, I will ink this Rapunzel, which might be dodgy, and then smash the Simba. And then not quest with anything, because if I quest, they can board wipe with shift. Tink. Might be the same opponent that we just played against. Difficult to tell because the names are just a load of numbers. Yeah, so there's the shift, so good thing we didn't quest there. Oh, never mind, there's the grab your swords combo, which we spoke about at the start of the video. Super annoying to play against. Play our own Tink and pass. We can do the same thing they've just done with the Tink grab your swords combo anyway, if they play units there. Or maybe they'll use Whole New World, which will be fine for us as well, give us a whole new hand to look at. Definitely neither of us off to an explosive play. An explosive start even, so that's good for us, good for them. Debating what to play, they've clearly got a lot of amazing options in their hand. Maybe deciding what to ink is always quite difficult at this stage in the game. It's hard to say what is correct when you're inking and stuff like that. Okay, cool, so we can shift this Tink. And then get into their Tink. And then just kill this hook with the excess damage that we've got. That works for me. We're not going to ink this turn, unfortunately. It's quite stressful not having exactly what you want in your hand, but that's just how card games are a lot of the time. There's a Lilo, which is fine with me. Definitely ink this Mickey. We can play this Maximus with Bodyguard, which lets us quest with Tinkerbell and not have to worry about the Lilo just trading into it. Good thing that they're playing Steel as well, because they have access to a Whole New World, which helps us as well, it benefits us a lot. There's our own Whole New World. Is it worth singing it, or do we just want to play it outright? I think I might sing Grab Your Sword and then play Whole New World. You know what, let's sing Whole New World. Could actually have sung both of them now I'm thinking about it. Fantastic. Okay, so we're gonna ink this Ransack. And then we can actually play Rapunzel to kill this Tink. Just a good reset turn and then we'll quest with the Maximus. Draw 3 new cards. Don't care too much about support there. And then we can also play this Bodyguard Simba, just annoying thing to get around. Just protecting this Tink basically. Seeing if we can get as much value as we can out of it. Give us one turn to play our Tabard as well, which will let us draw a lot of cards off of these Bodyguards. Depending on what they play here, I would say we're in quite a good spot. We can smash one of these aerials. And if they quest, we can just use Tink to clear their board basically. Okay, so not much there. Well, we can actually play this Dingle Hopper, which can just heal this Tink even more. Definitely going to smash one of these aerials. And then I think I actually want to play one of the Tabards rather than a Dingle Hopper at this current point. So I'll ink this Simba, play this Tabard. Just make sure we're not getting to that stage that we were at before where we're just relying on our top deck. And we can quest with all the stuff. Got up to 10. And once again, it looks like we're in quite a solid spot. They do have a massive hand though, so important to keep that in mind. Spend all their ink on a Tink. $25 me, they can hit this aerial into the Simba and kill it. But I'm not too worried about that. Just it will draw us a card, which is fine for me. not going to do anything. So I am going to play this Dingle Hopper and then use it on this Simba, mainly just because we want to get it out of that like 2 hit points away from dying range, so that Tink just can't kill it. And then we're gonna ink this Ransack, I think will be fine. Maybe ink this Hercules actually. No, we'll ink this Ransack. And then we'll play this Mickey, just 7 health is huge. And it can quest for 2, which is fantastic. Doesn't get the benefit of giving our Musketeers 1 attack, but that'll be fine, we'll just quest with everything. Do you want to quest everything? So we 6 away. Yeah, we might as well. And then let's see what our opponent can do here. We're in a very good spot. Great thing about bodyguards as well is that they do just protect this Rapunzel and Tink, which Tink's great because it can clear the board, and then Rapunzel's great because it can quest for 2 every turn. It's not necessarily the best for attacking and stuff like that. And yeah, that's why we use the Dingle Hopper on the Simba there, just to make sure it didn't die to grab your swords. It will die to this Tink though, which is fine. Oh, or they'll trade Lilo into it, which is fine. Allows us to draw a card. Get a Donald there, which will benefit from the Mickey. Draw a card, another Donald. There goes Rapunzel. And there goes our Tink. They're only at 4 quests though, so I'm fine with how the game currently is. Fine with its current position for sure. There's Rapunzel, give them a massive hand size. There's their own Simba. I think we're just going to start spam questing now. We can use this Dingle Hopper to heal this Mickey up as well. And then we'll play 2 Donalds. They'll both be quite strong. Do we want to play another Tabard? I don't think we really need to. So we'll play both of these Donalds. And then we'll quest with this. And then we'll heal it for 1. Dingle Hopper, and then I think we're in a good spot. I think we're in a good spot. So this Mickey's just got so much health, it's going to take a lot for them to get through that, and then once they get through that, they also have to get through at least one of the ducks. And then if they do kill my stuff, I draw 3 cards as well, which is great. Just good for card advantage. Unfortunately they do have a massive hand size as well, but against a lot of the decks at the moment, just card draw is just fantastic. You've seen with Amethyst, the amount of card draw that Ink gets is really strong. You've seen Rapunzel is fantastic as well, just because it allows you to draw those different cards. There goes our Mickey, we'll draw a card for that. And there's a concession, so 2-1 again. I think we've done that in every video so far. 2-1 win-loss rate. Hopefully I displayed the deck quite well. Had a lot of good games. If you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. And if you want to see any decks that you think are interesting to watch, you want to see my take on it and just watch some gameplay of it, leave a comment down below and I'll get around to it. Peace.